Why Media Foreign Policy Report, Trump envoys Witkoff and Kushner to meet Putin in Moscow over emerging Ukraine peace plan. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is meeting Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Tuesday, carrying an early-stage peace proposal the Trump administration hopes could finally halt the nearly four-year war in Ukraine. In a sign of the high-level push from Washington, Jared Kushner, former President Donald Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, will join the talks, which the Kremlin says will take as long as needed. The meeting comes as the administration grows increasingly frustrated with the slow progress of its diplomatic efforts, prompting Trump to deploy multiple envoys across parallel negotiating tracks. While Witkoff heads to the Kremlin, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been holding separate discussions with Ukrainian officials. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who traveled to Ireland on Tuesday as part of his outreach to European partners, said his team had just met with the Ukrainian delegation returning from negotiations in Florida. Rubio described those meetings as productive, but stressed that more work remains. Zelensky noted that a draft peace framework created earlier in Geneva has now been finalized, though he did not clarify what that entails. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine is pushing for strong European involvement in the peace talks and warned of Russian attempts to manipulate diplomacy to ease sanctions or weaken EU unity. Ukrainian intelligence, he said, will share information with partners to counter Moscow's disinformation campaigns. During his visit to Dublin, Zelensky highlighted Ireland's support, despite its official neutrality, and acknowledged the more than 100,000 Ukrainians who have relocated there since the 2022 invasion. European leaders remain wary, concerned both about Russia's long-term territorial ambitions and the challenge of financing Ukraine's defense beyond this year. French President Emmanuel Macron said he and Zelensky spoke by phone with Witkoff, as well as with leaders from 8 European countries, senior EU officials and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, underscoring the intense diplomatic coordination underway. Still, major obstacles, including the fundamental question of territorial control, remain unresolved, and European officials caution that the path to a negotiated peace will be long and uncertain.